We're rolling? Hi, I'm Stan Haynes with Monoxus with 718 TV. Cameraman is currently finishing up his 10-part epic of the United States coverage of the Wu Clan. Now, you could easily mistake this as being the Wu Clan, but no, it's Pride 2019. We're here to ask people what Pride means to them. Wu Clan, loud and proud. We're here to ask people, on a scale from 1 to America, what's it like to exercise a First Amendment right in a day like this? Now, for this, a day like this, had the weather yesterday? No, man. Yesterday was all sorts of awful and nasty, and it was humid. Like the kind of humid where you're like, damn, I should have put baby powder on my balls humid. So, the floats are going on by, and everything is fantastic. I'm not sure if the guy who was selling, what were they? The nutcrackers, that's what they were. They were fantabulous, let me tell you. Not as fantabulous as this. Smatterings of the Wu crowd can be easily spotted here at Pride Parade, but don't let that falter you. If I understand correctly, it's a layering upon layering of like the global Pride Parade, Pride 2019, and the Stonewall riots were like 2 days ago, if not. The Stonewall riots, back when PvP settled everything. You know, no is a complete sentence, so that's one lesson we could take away from the Stonewall riots. It's kind of one of the few unspoken bits of history. Kind of like how Hannibal is the greatest general of antiquity, but we don't mention him because, well, he was from Carthage, and what do you remember anything about Carthage, huh? Because unfortunately, history is written by the victors. It should be noted, though, that, like, not a lot of grime was written about Hannibal, even though he was the loser, despite being the greatest general of antiquity. The point is, we're here to bring light and awareness to, I suppose, everything, just to make sure you even get a footnote in the annals of history today here at Pride Month. We're here not to discuss why we're paying more for less and how we can't make out these mumbo-jumbo times, for it's here at Pride. What's your deal? Why can't you just have some happiness in your life and let the Wu Clan run wild? I mean, floats be damned. I haven't seen these many rainbow flags since the Dark Side of the Moon Fan Convention Fest, where on the other side it was the light going through the prism. And cameraman, just in case you're wondering, no, this is not the Dark Side of the Moon Fan Gathering. Rainbow flags be damned. And here we have the Grand Marshal of the parade, and lest we remember the Stonewall riots. Good old PvP. The only way to get things done in this day and age. That's a ginormous truck. I mean, that's like a landing of Normandy boat on wheels. And that's kind of crazy. It's two-way. They're filming us, filming them, filming us. Mumbo-jumbo times, my friend. You can't even be on a float without filming someone else. Smells like a Cypress Hill concert. I smell that too, Monoxus. You know, this is really pleasant. Although I wonder what kind of breakdown message you'd have to give. Like, let's say you bring your kid here. That's a lot to unpack, to be like, well, there's a population of people who've been oppressed because of X, Y, and Z. And then and they're just 8 years old. They want to watch Captain Caveman and, like, talk shit in Xbox Live. Oh, wait, hold on. The Wu Clan. Live in 718 TV on someone else's phone. Hold on. We got to give away some flyers while we're at it. Hold on. That's it. Check this out. Excuse me. Excuse me. See, ladies and gentlemen, are you paying more for less? Are you sick of these mumbo-jumbo times? Wake up and smell the noise. We here at 718 TV believe that we should be bringing light and attention to the kind of things you don't see reported in the mainstream news, like drones, that, Yemen, that. I mean, it's a two-way street. I mean, of course, every channel omits things and chooses to report on things, but we here at 718, we're at the mercy of what comes across our desk. And what's coming across our desk today is Pride 2019, because boots on the ground is the best way to win hearts and minds. Just ask Paul Bremer. Anyways, I'm Stained Haynes, he's Monoxus, and here's Thrash Sputin with the latest installment of Holy Shit Arcades, remember that?
Pinball, hockey, tennis, ping pong, play them video games. Speedway, Star Wars, Space Invaders, I love them just the same. Join me, baby, try it, baby, baby, it's no crime. Hit the target, up the score, back to the starting line.
sash. That's awesome. Yo, only like 6 people on the server have one of those. Because we're at the mercy of what comes across our desk, Wolfen TC won the contest, and we have questions here in case people want Q&A. Otherwise, if you correctly guess the number of phones that are in the background, we will personally mow your lawn, rub your back, and kill your nemesis. Not necessarily in that order. So, that starts from the beginning of this video, the number of phones. Cameraman is currently back in the studio doing all the math. The math always checks out with him because he deals in absolutes. You know, the only things in the world that deal with absolutes are the dead, Sith, autists, and cameramen. And cameraman deals in absolutes. So we're here at Pride 2019, and I think I see a couple of Norwegian flags. That's a flag from Denmark. That's a flag from Finland. That's a flag from Sweden. We got all the Bort Scandinavian countries here. Let's see if there are any other parts of Europe that are here for Pride 2019. Man, the Wu clan is just everywhere. Man, Scandinavia strong. The Finnish light cavalry has arrived, and cowbell. You can never have enough cowbell. I wish I could have that on loop, and some small quiet corner of my brain that'll override the small quiet corner of my brain that never shuts the fuck up. That's right next to the small quiet corner of my brain. The man who's constantly walking in figure eights, muttering to no one in particular, like, I wonder if they still make those coconut tea cookies I really like, and maybe I should buy mixed nuts in bulk, but like cashews in bulk and peanuts in bulk, and then mix them at home, and I could be saving like $576 a year instead of buying mixed nuts at bulk, because buying bulk isn't the only answer you could have for trying to save here and there at the end of every week and at the end of every month. I mean, we live in mumbo jumbo times. The middle class is it's now on the endangered species list, along with the tree wallop and the herpaderpidoo that can only be found in the quiet jungles right outside of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So, Iceland strong, and there's even some Iceland umbrellas. I mean, it's a beautiful sunny day, and you can imagine that's really good strats against an unforgiving sun. But no. Man, Scandinavia really strong this year. You know, you weren't wrong, Monoxus. This really is a global ordeal. I haven't seen these many gay Vikings since the alternate timeline where disco rules everything, and Scandinavia is the #1 party system that allows us to travel inner and outer space together. That timeline, it appeared briefly right over there with that Iceland umbrella. Man, and it's, you know, I'm not quite, well, the whistles sort of make sense because it's low energy, high volume. But I mean, like, you don't hear whistles at, like, war rallies. You sometimes hear whistles in like, you know, political rallies. But no, we're going to try to keep it as politics-free as we can. Like those jerks who keep bringing up voting on Salty Bet. That's no good. You could go back to Pepper Vote. You could go back to Venus Barter. You could go back to Weeb Wager. No. You keep that off of Salty Bet. You keep your voting out of this. And don't be one of those voting doesn't fix anything types either on a Mongolian basket-weaving forum of peace. Those people are the third worst people on this side of the multiverse. Those are the same kind of people that are going to try to convince you that the grass is greener on the other side, but no, the grass is greener where you water it. And I hope that's one lesson you can take away from these mumbo-jumbo times. It's a beautiful day, and I hope you're having as fantastic as a time as I am, and as fantabulous as a time as Monoxus is having. It was his idea after all. He's got great ideas all the time. You know, there's an alternate timeline where Monoxus is just 3 bad days away from taking over the eastern seaboard a la Hank Scorpio. You don't want to know what's going on with me in that timeline. It's no good. A spotted woo in the wild. We're trying to figure out if it's an eastern or a western woo. Live on 718 TV, there are phones all up and about. Now, I'm not quite sure if you're keeping count with all the phones, but again, seriously, that lawn, that back rub, that nemesis, gone. Just got to count the phones, man. Some of these phones, if you look over there, there are a couple of phones surgically attached to people's hands. I'm not even sure what direction that phone's looking in. Oh, that's a standard default phone. Man, it's like even the phones have diversity. That's what it's like in current year. And now we have the flag of the Dominican Republic. We have the flag of a number of Caribbean nations. There's Brazil. And excuse my ignorance, I'm trying to figure out which one is Honduras, which one is Nicaragua, and which one is El Salvador. But you could see the Chilean flag over yonder, the Venezuelan flag. And I'm not sure if that's Paraguay or Uruguay with the sun up over on the upper left-hand corner. And Canada, suddenly Canada. And of course, Canada would be leading Ecuador and Cuba into the land of woo. Canada, a fucking leaf, even here at Pride. Well, it just proves to show you, oh, and there's Panama! Da, 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 da. Panama! Whoa, oh, 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 oh. And the phones, some of the people with the phones in front of their face, it looks like they're in the witness protection program, you know? Because self-censorship is the best censorship. Got you colonized up here, man. And thus concludes the Caribbean, slowly marching off into, well, I really can't see past the NYPD trucks. You know, if you have, those aren't farts, that's a fan, don't worry about that, cameraman. So beyond the trucks, those are the trucks that become activated when you get 4 stars in GTA. I can't see beyond those trucks, but what we have are some pretty dope paper mache things over there that say gay. And I'm not lying, it just says it right there. A couple more Caribbean nations, the Jamaican flag, and the flag of the United States of America. Pride 2019. And right behind it is the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, lest we forget that it's a Commonwealth, not the 51st state. You know Puerto Rico has no say in the political machinations of the United States? None. None at all whatsoever. And the policy that's passed here in the United States directly affects a population of people who have no say in it. And that's, I don't know if you want to play find the metaphor with that, but, you know, buzzword, catchphrase, verb, the adjective, noun. And now we have pink letters. I can't quite make out what we're saying. Are we going to be playing Hangman with pink letters? I hope not. This is no good. I'm really not even that good at Hangman. Pride? No, that's not Pride. And here come the stilts. That's coordination I can't relate to. That must be nigh impossible. I wonder how often you'd have to practice to do that, because they're not just walking still. They're waving, voguing, and that dude's twirling. That dude's got a crazy dexterity score. You see that? I wonder what build he had for this. Every time it's LF1M, no rogues, you're turning that down, and I hope you're happy, you WoW purist jerks. The Wu Clan just doesn't stop coming. The hits don't stop coming. Mumbo Jumbo times don't stop coming. It is coming. Deadline was right. Deadline, best known as the brains behind Daddy's Money. You might have seen this, and if you haven't, you're really missing out in life. But that's neither here nor there, because today's Pride. There are phones everywhere, and the score's going through the roof. And I wonder what kind of silly numbers game cameraman's going to have to be dealing with. Born this way, well, it depends. Was there plastic anywhere involved when he or she was about to be giving birth? Because that messes with the hormones of our system. The Earth is slowly dying. It's true. I don't mean to be a bummer here, but, like, let's be honest. Did you know that every evening millions go to sleep homeless, hungry, and about like a third of them are children? Sad, because trans people and trans people of color are greatly affected by this more than any other population on Earth. And where's the moral outrage for that? Nah, it's just nothing but misplaced outrage, and that's the mumbo-jumbo times that we live in, you know. Thankfully, the police aren't here cracking in skulls like cops normally do. They're here. Maybe it was because the Scandinavian Bort crew let them know what was going on, and before that, the Mad Max reenactment. There's something on a towel, and I can't read it. It's not even pointing at me.
You're gonna be so proud.
I'm Stained Haynes. He's Monoxus, currently making demands with the Cloud. I mean, not the Cloud and the thing that has a copy of everything we ever upload and a copy of every email draft you've ever deleted. Not that Cloud, but the Cloud's up above. Monoxus earlier was all like, I'm going to pick a fight with you, and I've got 19 level question mark druids. And I'm like, dude, it's Pride. Just take it easy, okay? So the breeze is picking up, and I must admit, it went from mildly chilly to like, ooh, it is a bit gusty. One of the wind girl from Russia, I think, in the Captain Planet series, she's probably out marching in Pride, giving us this delicious breeze. Now, I'm not sure if you had caught this earlier, but the woo crowd has subsided. I'm not sure what comes next after the Scandinavian countries, the Caribbean that was led by Canada, also with Ecuador and Colombia behind them. Was it Colombia? I know it was Ecuador, but some other country. Anyways, probably, and look at that, a dandy fop. Now, that dandy fop is going to go mince probably with the with Vega. That's who he's going to mince with. A wall-climbing metrosexual with a claw and a mask. That's who he's going to... I wonder if Vega's in Pride Week. You think Vega would be in Pride Week? I'd like to think Vega would be in Pride Week. Probably. No, Zangief is. So, yeah, canonly, I think. I just Google it. I think at some point between 4 and 5, they decided, Geef's a bear. Geef retires to his twink farm at the end of every Street Fighter tournament. And it got awfully quiet, too, because usually, the whistles are starting to pick up, which is, again, fantastic, low energy, high yield. It's louder than the woos. And if you brace in about 3, 2, 1, someone to my right is running. You see that? I don't know what he's running from or what he's running to, but perhaps he's on his way to meet Destiny, the Colossus of Destiny, that is probably 3 or 4 floats away from coming. I think that might be Colossus of Destiny wooing. I'm not quite sure. But no, this is like a rather quiet side street. The kind of side street you'd usually take refuge on if, I don't know, like if the Mongol horde just broke through and we all had to unite as Americans, I'd probably want a street like this. I mean, we have no solidarity unless we're under attack, and I don't want another 9/11. But still, like either way, we can have solidarity, but without the Mongols and without people making random U-turns with Luigi hats on. People often telegraph their wants and desires without ever directly asking for it, and I should have offered him a flyer, but there's only so much I can do, because this little knob is currently taking away 7 mana per round, and I know there's no such thing as mana in 3.5 D&D, but this is some awful Final Fantasy III nonsense that we're dealing with. Hey, it says Final Fantasy III on the cartridge, okay? You call it 6 one more time, and I'm going to be shitting in your cornflakes. Random person on the internet, I don't know. Anyways, the woos are starting to pick up, and I'm not quite sure what's behind. I don't know what that flag is with the blue and the pink and the white stripe in the middle. I don't know. Like, I'm not quite sure what faction that is if this breaks into PvP. I mean, obviously the rainbow flag faction is going to win by virtue of numbers alone, because even Stalin once said, quantity has a quality all on its own. So if this were PvP, like, they'd be nigh unstoppable, again, just by numbers alone. But numbers alone can't win. Like, remember in 300, the Persians had like 90 jillion people and the elephants too, and they were just like, no, we're going to push you off the cliff. So numbers might not always win in this. I'm just worried PvP is going to happen. The Stonewall Riot, what was it? The Stonewall Riot remembrance thingy that happened in the past earlier? Yeah, it was like 2 days ago. PvP. Let that be a lesson to you ladies and germs at home. PvP is where it's at. Letitia James? Letia James? Hooked on Phonics didn't work for me. You're going to have to bear with me for a second. Occasionally you see just titties just flopping a bit and about, like they got their own time zones, like beagles in canvas sacks trying to wrestle one another in a desperate bid to get out. You know how in like Halloween, it's like, woo, and people have an excuse to just dread as provocatively as possible? Well, it's like that, but gayer today. But it's Pride 2019. What do you expect? It's well within their right. I mean, like if you've got it, flaunt it, right? Because if you don't use it, you lose it. Like sick and personal and vacation days. I'm here for the floats, and I don't see any floats. Although I could go for an ice cream float, but there is no Mr. Softy truck here. But you got to make do with what you can have. Here at 718 TV, we're at the mercy of what comes across our desk. Congressman Jerry Nadler. Congressman Jerry Nadler wants to know, why would you bring a speaker to Pride? That's what Monoxus asked earlier. And Monoxus is probably going to be at the town hall meeting wondering, why are we funding stadiums with our tax dollars that yield nothing to the community? And then it's a tax write-off for the rich. But you never hear about Monoxus in town hall meetings. You just hear about, like, girls in the Hmong Cambodian jungle twerking and, like, lists on BuzzFeed. And, someone told you to invest in Ethereum and you didn't. And then Ethereum went 10 times. No, of course you're not going to bring that up. There are a lot of things people don't bring up, and I'm jealous of that dude's hair and beard. I mean, I was honestly hoping people would be biting, and I don't want to be, like, just yelping at people and bleeding like, do you have a minute to talk about freedom? Although it'll probably come down to it, too. I do have flyers. We only handed out one. But doing anything is better than doing nothing at all. That's always a hit in any parade. It could be like a military parade, Pride 2019, though we finally defeated the straight-edge skinhead Scientologists parade. But if you have an upbeat 4/4 song, you'll just gather the Wu Clan inside everyone. I really can't tell what they're marching for. The font is too small on that thing over there. And again, peaks and valleys. Then it's going to be quiet, and then it's going to be loud, and then it's going to be quiet again. But I think I see a pug over there, and that pug needs water. Really, that pug's not in good shape. Get a shot of that pug right over there. That pug needs water. Every minute, 60 seconds pass that a pug doesn't get water. For only 99 cents a day, you could get a pug water. It'll be Pride water. What, you don't want to be a bigot, do you? Give the pug some goddamn Pride water. It's fucking thirsty. Pugs, not drugs. So, small font, Rebecca Seawright, I believe? Rebecca Seawright, is she like a congressman, a senator? Is she running for the school board? Is she going to be on like the Chamber of Commerce? Let's be honest. How many people know who is sitting in the Chamber of Commerce right this second? No one in Current Ear knows that. Happy Pride from Assembly Member Dick Gottfried. Assembly Member. Oh, okay. That's kind of like mid-ranking. What is that? Like somewhere between B and A tier of local politics? That giant flag and then that teeny tiny little flag over there. They'll never talk to me or my son ever again. So font's too small on that, and it's white on different colors, and that's nigh impossible to read. I can't speedrun this shit. We just got here like 7 minutes ago. And here, if you see over in the background, there's another Dominican flag right next to the prism light going through the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon album cover flag. No floats, really. I was kind of looking forward to the floats, but no, a notable absence of floats at this time. It's going to be, again, more peaks and valleys, kind of like that movie True Romance. Because it's Pride. You don't want to be a jerk. Make nice, all right? Just take just a little bit of time out of your day, because it takes less effort to be, not a dick than it does to be a dick. That's one of the lessons we could take from Pride 2019, other than the fact that only PvP solves anything in the public arena. Did someone get that pug water? Is that a different dog? That's a different dog, okay. Man, that pug's just panting for Springfield. Now here at 718 TV, we're not going to be criticizing or commenting the number of gross and ugly thighs we've seen, although we're just going to focus on the nice games that we see. Although it's strange because, again, like, not everyone in this population is gay, but everyone wants to support, the LGBT community. And then there's some sort of weird overlap of people who treat today like it's Halloween, so they dress as provocatively as possible. And, like, I get it. You could sort of get away with it the same way some people are getting away with doing drugs and making slight messes of themselves in public, but woo! Yeah, you like that. And then you could just kind of blend in,
You already know the vibes. Tomboy J on all social media. You already know.
And if you don't, you're missing out, and that's on you. We're not responsible for your poor choices in life. You have to look at, have a nice day. You have to. So every once in a while, there are people who are, now that's brave, just breaking through the membrane and crossing through the threshold and deciding, I'm going to say and be and do. Most people don't want to do that. Everything you want is right outside your comfort zone. Your comfort zone will kill you. But no, that person, nothing but good things for that person. I hope she gets everything she wants out of this lifetime and the next. Now, I'm not going to go start wishing the best of intelligence on people because luck runs out when you need it the most, but no, that really was brave. The kind of bravery you don't see. You know, like most people are just surgically attached to their phones, but she was crazy PvPing in like meat space, asserting herself verbally, and the pose and the shirt and the culturally appropriated. No, nothing was culturally appropriated because Nipsey Hussle did in fact die. I'm not here to debate why. What the fuck are all these water bottles that are just left by the side? Is that banana still there? This is nonsense. I mean, I don't want to nitpick or anything, but it's just strange. Like the water bottles are slowly multiplying, and that's no good. It's like an alien when the creep starts to fill in. When you get one egg, and then you get 17 eggs, then you get chest bursters, but before the chest burst, oh look, and furries. No, gotta get a shot. Even in Pride 2019, furries have to show up. Did you know that furries are the only subculture explicitly tied to zoophilia and bestiality? The furry fandom and community need to be removed from the gene pool, and I understand this is Pride 2019, but like, yeah. Ugh. You see this, right? Someone has to be bearing witness to this. We all might be next. Next me, next you, next everyone. Tony Wan and Ron Max had the real right idea. Tony Wan and Ron Max are the John the Baptists of their time. I don't know, but I bet you it reeks of Astroglide and self-hatred. And that's nuts too, because it makes you wonder, number one, like, what is their fursona? Number two, each fursona has a name. And what if that name comes with like special powers and background and lore, and then a link to a Deviant account that's not like even active at this point, but people still check the inbox and the message system of all that. So here, the internet will break through into meat space anytime, anywhere. Even at Pride 2019, Roseanne Hager 2020, none of you are safe. So we're here at Pride in Peaks and Valleys. Bless you. She sneezed over yonder. So here at Pride 2019, it's Peaks and Valleys again, just like in True Romance, where like shit goes insane at breakneck speed and you're having a nosebleed from all the fun, and not because you're about to OD on coke, but fun. And then it gets quiet. And that poor dog just wants water. And the poor dog's, but you see that? And they just have to, the internet just uglifies everything. Nothing is safe. It's nuts. Ugh. You know, a certain American hero doesn't like goblins. Ew, he doesn't like them. Well, I don't like furries. Ugh. Hi, I'm Stained Haynes, he's Monoxus, and we're currently on our way back to the Oregon Trail. You see, this is sort of like half-assed Halloween, although the costumes are a bit more fabulous than your usual run of the sexy nurse, sexy teacher, sexy detective, and sexy, like, you know, it's like playing Mad Libs with, you know, costumes. But thankfully here at Pride, it's like a weird grab bag. It's like rolling a D20, and if you roll a 14, furries show up. And someone rolled a 14. That was not good. Strange to see furries just show up, even at Pride in 2019. Like, nothing is safe. None of you are safe. It's why you got to vote for Roseanne Hager for Mayor of Earth 2020. But no, we're currently enjoying the breeze because the Russian lady from Captain Planet is here to talk about how, like Billy the Blue Ranger in Power Rangers, was subjected to a lot of unfortunate treatment due to her sexual orientation. But no, and now everyone's piling on her because she's also Russian. And you know what I was really worried about for some time? Segments of the regressive left appropriating Hotline Miami 1 and 2, because you're basically just killing Russians left and right. And no, blaming Russia for everything was en vogue for about like 2.5 years. So I was really worried. I'm surprised Zangief wasn't thrown under the bus. I'm surprised there wasn't a resurgence in people falling in love with Rocky IV because Rocky Balboa ended the Cold War. I'm surprised there wasn't a resurgence of like Red Dawn. Yeah, Red Dawn was when like the Pacific Northwest kind of sort of fought back. Wolverines! And was Charlie Sheen in that movie? Look, the point is, the resurgence of all this anti-Russia hysteria, I'm surprised there were certain things in the cultural canon that wasn't taken and twisted and perverted by people who, you know, they bought into this weird current year mumbo jumbo times. Putin himself is going to turn the heat off in your house, and that's nonsense. But you know, it's a lot more fun and entertaining to believe in that because, you know, fear is stockpiled on the regular. I mean, how many of the issues that you see on the news directly affect how you put food on the table, how you make rent, or the fact that the middle class is an endangered species? Or you're going to tell me that eating red meat is going to somehow fix the environment, like the ozone layer is going to unfuck itself because we decide to stop eating red meat? No, for starters, starters, all of the hominids that ate plants died out because their diet is contrary to nature. It's why we have incisors. You've got to eat meat. How else are you going to get the animal fats and proteins that you and your brain and a growing body need? The Choices and Voices Act of 2017. That's what it has to do with Pride. Because we here at 718 TV are at the mercy of what comes across our desk. Now, unfortunately, on a scale from 1 to America, no one wants to discuss how grateful we should be to exercise our First Amendment right on such a day. Furries be damned. But they have a First Amendment right too, and it's sad. Because if you're going to be, protecting free speech, you got to protect the furries too. Kind of like how Dr. Doom had Captain America and the Avengers protect him because he had diplomatic immunity. And he showed up, and then black bloc anarchists tried to take, they tried to make a move on Dr. Doom, and even Captain America was like, Avengers assemble, and the other Avengers were looking at him like, come on the fuck on, dude, really? But no, Captain America's got no excuse. What's your excuse, We got to exercise our First Amendment right on such a beautiful day, and what are you ladies and germs at home watching, huh? With your talking cacti and potato chip bags and your doppelgangers that you make nefarious plans for. But no, at least they're not test tube babies. You're just messing with the dark arts and the arcane and a little bit of Tibetan black magic. As long as you're not involving science in this, you're not doing irreparable damage. Because really, if you grow a human in a lab, does that human have a soul, or is it just like sentient meat that likes ice cream and goes on vacation twice a year? It makes you wonder. I mean, it makes me wonder. I don't know what makes you wonder. Although, cameraman, you're really missing out. Cameraman would have loved it here. Cameraman's probably busy at the moment, with a couple of alien greys that crash landed in Forest Hills 2 days ago. And he's going to make them eat Baconators and listen to Vaporwave as they die of the grease. Because cameraman's good like that. Cameraman's kind of like George W. Bush. While you sleep, he destroys your world. And it's people like cameraman that are they're sort of like children of Obatala. They're supervillains, but they're on our side, We should be so grateful that cameraman provided us with the gear and equipment to even run around and do this happy horse shit on practically no notice. I mean, granted, we at 718 TV are at the mercy of what comes across our desk, but, this is breaking current events. It'll be here until time immemorial, like Beat here and Smells on the MTA. I'm Stained Haynes, that's Monoxus. We're not in 718, but we're returning to 718. But at some point, we do have to conclude the Oregon Trail because I don't know what the whole hubbub is of Settlers of Catan is. People aren't even playing Oregon Trail, and that game is badass. You could just get it on Steam for 16 cents. It's like Oregon Trail, but it's during a zombie apocalypse. And, if you were any good at hunting an Oregon Trail and you were to fucking catch those squirrels on no notice, you could beat Oregon Trail. You're good. You're good. Just remember, if you're playing the game with the UFO, you can't unlock anything, so just keep that in mind. It's sort of like, I don't want to call it anti-code, it's like the game's preventive measure of you just grinding shit and unlocking every achievement in 16 minutes. Although, if you're playing in unlimited mode, you could probably do that, but that's neither here nor there. No, Monoxus, none of this has to do with Pride, all right? I'm just on the search for water, maybe even iced coffee, and I'm going to be eating the mic like that. I don't want hats, but there's hats behind me. Is it hats? Well, there's a farmer's market right over here, and we're going to go to that goddamn farmer's market. I'm Stained Haynes, that's a farmer's market. Let's get something to fucking drink.
Never have I seen such a display of blatant poofery. Never